Hey everybody, welcome back to Havoc Maker Studio. My name is John and I'm hoping you guys are having a great day. Hopefully you guys had a great week and a half since the last time I posted a video. I have been super busy with a couple paint commissions and I bought a new pew pew and I've had a few days at the range trying to get it sighted in and such, and some little shoulder issues there, but overall I've been having some fun. So we've been a little busy with that. So today, right now, we're going to talk about one of the controversies I'd like to talk about this week. I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff. Hasbro, WotC, video games with Ubisoft, and of course, my favorite controversial thing to talk about, Games Workshop. So what has Games Workshop been up to lately? If you're not familiar, Adeptus Custodes, along with the Orcs, are getting a release on the 27th of April, not this weekend, the weekend after. And boy, there is a bit of controversy going on over not even a full paragraph, well, maybe two paragraphs, maybe 250, 300 words that was written. And of course, the controversy that nobody's really talking about, but they are kind of associating with it without really addressing it. We'll get into this. So what am I talking about? I'm not going to put the blurb up. There's plenty of videos out there. Chapter Master Valric here on YouTube. Make sure I have a link in the description below for you to take a look at his amazingly funny video. So Adeptus Custodes recently, or I should say Games Workshop recently, put out a little blurb following the antics, if you will, of a custodian named Kesh. We're going to just say Adeptus Custodian Kesh instead of reading the whole long name. Now, the thing with Adeptus Custodian Kesh is that she is participating in the Blood Games. If you're not familiar, the Blood Games is something that the Adeptus Custodes have done since before the Horus Heresy. It is something that they do to find ways to breach the throne world and basically assassinate the Emperor or other figureheads, like during the Horus Heresy, going after Rogel Dorn, going after Constantine Valdor or Malcador. Those were other objectives. And the main goal of the Blood Games is to breach those defenses in a variety of ways so they can go, oh, we didn't think about, putting a banana up the tailpipe of a Land Raider to distract us for you to come through this amazingly large, massive air duct that we built for some reason. That is the type of thing that they're looking for. Maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit with the tailpipe, but you understand what I'm saying, I hope. So anyways, we follow the thought process and a couple of verbal exchanges from Adeptus Custode Kesh, or Custodian Kesh. And it's very clear that it is a she. It's not a mistake. It's not like, whoops, we put she instead of he. No, they knew what they were doing. It is a female custodian, and that's where some people are losing their mind over a female Adeptus Custodian that has currently, at least, no rules, no miniature, no effect on the game at all. And it's not even a violation of established lore. It's not. It's just, oh, we're going woke now. What's next? Female Space Marines? Well, stop right there. Let me at least walk through some of the process here. So if you're not familiar, the Adeptus Custodes and the Space Marines are really designed from the thought process of the Emperor. And so he has two different processes here for these amazing superhuman warriors. Now, on the one hand, if you're not familiar or you need maybe a refresher, is that Space Marines, the Adeptus Astartes, must be male. And they are chosen at their adolescent stage or puberty stage. And the reason why is that's when their growth hormone kicks in. That's when a testosterone is running rampant, and that is the most ideal time to make these testosterone, hormone driven killing murder machines that go out and bring order to the galaxy, supposedly. And that is very defined that they are male. Now, some people are like, well, why isn't there female Space Marines? Well, it's that part of that process. Now, we're not going to talk about the 11th Legion and then being the female reason why there's no female Space Marines. So we, on the flip side, we have the Adeptus Sororitas, or the Sisters of Battle, the battle nuns. These are the nuns with guns. They are all women. All the warriors are women. That's it. I'm not talking about like the arcoflagellants or the penitent engines. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about the warriors in the power armor that are essentially, if you look at their whole setup, equipment wise, they are almost carbon copy of the Space Marine. So I'm just going to use this very weak analogy here. We have male Space Marines, we have female Space Marines already. Now the females, they don't have all the genetic improvements. They don't have the now 22 organs that are implanted in them to make them bigger, stronger, tougher, more aggressive, all that jazz. But they have their own special abilities, their faith-driven immunities and stuff. So we have two very distinct male and female armies. We look over the Adeptus Custodes and the Imperial Guard, and they are mixed. No problems there. No problems with female Sisters Battles. No problem with male Space Marines. Now, we do have a problem. Correction. There's a very small vocal minority of, I'm going to say it, weirdos that have a problem with a Adeptus Custode being female. Now, all we know really from the lore is that the Adeptus Custodes are chosen at infancy. So they're usually their first 12 months or first year. And that they are genetically modified. I mean, they get down to the DNA, genome, the whole works to handcraft, if you will, these perfect superhuman of superhuman warriors. I mean, we have the Adeptus Astartes who are superhuman with all those implants and everything. Then we have these ones with no implants, but they're genetically modified and tinkered with. Each one is handcrafted, guys. So the lore doesn't say that it has to be a male or female, just from infancy. Now, there's, I believe there's one book out there, and I can't remember the author. It might be Guy Haley, or it could be Aaron Dembski Bowden. It mentioned somebody's point of view about the sons of Terran nobility, but we know that the Adeptus Custodes come from different stock, right? And at no time, nowhere does it say in the lore that it is only males. We know Adeptus Astartes are only males. We know the Sisters of Battle are only females. We know that the Sisters of Battle can't have males in it, not because males aren't capable, but because of the I can't remember the treaty, but it's saying, hey, you can't have men employed. Basically, you can't have female or male Sisters of Battle, brothers of battle. Anyways, so that's can't happen. Just like Space Marines can't have females for genetic reasons. Adeptus Custodes, there's nothing saying you can't. Now, I'm going to equate this controversy of this very vocal minority with what happened a few years ago. I think it was 9th edition with the Dawn of Fire books. I think it was 9th edition when they released that. Gilliman is back. All this other stuff is going on. We're kicking off the Indominus Crusade, all that jazz. And we had, God forbid, a black Ultramarine of the Adeptus Astartes, or an Adeptus Astartes of the Ultramarines, and a female Commodore. And people were losing their minds. Now, it's distant memory, but I remember I covered this when I was with FMP Wargamers and still doing videos here, that people were just like, this is bullcrap. They're going woke. Ultramarines all look like Gilliman, which they don't. There's only a few chapters where there is some appearance because of the gene seed that changes them. Like the Raven Guard, they get the pale skin, the black eyes. Nothing saying it can't be black guys or Asian guys or Hispanic guys or anything like that. And then of course the real, I guess that if you want to get technical, the real black or coal black are the salamanders, but that's a genetic thing, not an ethnicity thing. Or somehow, if you're a blood angel, you get pretty. You somehow get prettier. I don't I don't understand that, but okay, I'm not going to argue. We got pretty boys. We got guys that are coal black skin with burning red eyes. We got guys with black eyes and white skin. So it's, but people lost their minds that how dare they make an Ultramarine black? Now, did they virtue signal us? Thank God they didn't, or we would have lost our mind. Just like now, they're not virtue signaling it. We're virtue signaling it. All the people that are upset about it are virtue signaling it in a sense, in like a reverse sense, but they're the one that's drawing all this ire and attention towards it. And there's no reason for it. It doesn't affect gameplay, just like the Black Ultramarine. I mean, come on, guys. There's like 500 worlds. Do I need to say this again? Ultramar is 500 worlds. You don't think there's a single black guy that can't be an Ultramarine? You think they're all white? Come on. That's like old British, colonial British, and I don't mean colonialism or colonizing. I'm talking about that old school mentality, like, harumph, we can't have the black man, they're inferior, that sort of thing. That kind of old school mentality where they didn't really want to include that. We wanted, it's only white guys playing this game, so we're just gonna have white guys. That was that mentality. What Games Workshop did with the Avenging Sun, this novel, is, hey, we just went ahead and include it. Now, this is the right way if you're going to start being inclusive, and not in a DEI sense, and not in a woke sense or anything. But hey, we're just going to go ahead and do it. We're not going to virtue signal. We're not going to make a big deal about it. We're just going to do it, and we're going to move on. And that's what they did. Some of you maybe, or some people had a problem with it. Now that brings us back to the Adeptus Custodes. There are a few people, maybe some of you, maybe some of your friends, that have an issue with it. And I can't tell you that you should never, ever feel that way or think that way. I think we have other issues that we should be focusing on, and we're going to cover that in just a second. But this is not something to focus on. Lore-wise, it makes sense. Statistically speaking, it makes sense. And the way that they did it, right. No virtue signaling in a sense. So here's what another thing that made people a little upset is, or on their Warhammer official page, and please don't go on to their page or this Santiago 1692510 and dog them or dox them or anything. But here's what they said in reply to whatever he has said. It says, in regards to female custodians, there have always been female custodians since the first of the 10,000 were created. And you know what? Lore-wise, we don't know. I mean, if there's 10,000, there's been over 10,000, but we don't know who they are. We don't know if they're all male. Did everybody go and check under the hood? Do we know the names of every single Adeptus Custode ever made? And in the lore, they never said it's only males. Come on, guys and gals. Come on. Now, here's something that Aaron Dembski-Bowden had said. I'm assuming this says 5 years ago. Some of us had this discussion behind the scenes since, lore-wise, now mind you, this is 5 years old, at least. There was no reason why it wouldn't be possible. Talking about a female Adeptus Custodes. So it came down to a former IP overlord, if you will, saying no, because the minis are finished and they're all male. Not lore, okay? Not lore, is because the minis are finished. So this might have been, if it is 5 years, if this is a recent screen grab, that would put us at 2019. I think Custodes came out in 2017, 2018. It's a little bit earlier than that. And regardless, and this most likely is from the IP guy saying, hey, we already finished the models, we already finished the artwork, the book's in production, and by finishing the minis, why can't they just go back and resculpt? It's very likely, from my understanding of former employee and some insider information, and if you're not familiar, they send the completed models, basically, or the 3D files, over to China, essentially, to go, hey, we need you to go and make a die cast mold. It's a big metal mold. Some of them can get up to like $80,000, $90,000 depending on them. And they basically cut those to match the sculpts. So we've already sent that off. It's already being made. We've already invested, maybe up to $100,000 just for this product. We're not going to go back and redo it. We're going to leave it alone. Cool, because we already have the males. They're there. That's what I am personally gathering from that, is that, hey, it's done. We're not going to go ahead and redo it. So all controversy and stuff aside, there's no reason why we can't have female custodians. Is it going to change the way the game plays? No. Are you going to buy the model? Are you going to be upset because there's a model? Maybe. It's kind of weird that you'd be upset that there's a female model. Now, some people are equating the bad rules writing with the advent of the female Adeptus Custode. That's wrong. That's just plain wrong. If we're going to be upset about anything, it needs to be about who's writing the rules, not who wrote a little bit of fiction, maybe 300 words, about a female custode. And I think the biggest thing that we should be kind of concentrating on is not what Games Workshop is, trying to be inclusive and just kind of be a forward-thinking company and just going, hey, we have a legitimate reason to be able to make a female custode. Let's go ahead and do it. Bam, we did it, instead of virtue signaling. So instead of being upset about that, we should probably be upset about a few other things. So my final thoughts on this is there are three things that we should be really focusing on, not black Ultramarines, not a female Adeptus Custodian, which both makes perfect sense. And it's not even a retcon. It's just, hey, we're expanding the available lore. Boom, done. So we have three things that we should be paying attention to. First, we'll do this number 3, is how Games Workshop is treating the friendly local game stores. They've been adopting this model to where they're trying to cut out the middleman so they can make more money. They put it in an earnings call, I think about a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, where they're trying to adapt this Warren Buffett kind of architecture for their business model, that we make more money, of course, by going direct to the customer. So we need more Warhammer stores, but you can't play in the Warhammer stores really, because they have like 1 or 2 tables. And we want to cut out the middleman, because the middleman's costing us a little bit of money, even though it's really free advertising, and those local game stores tend to sell more than the Warhammer stores. There's a reason why Warhammer stores close down so often. More often, I think, than game stores. Anyway, so we need to be upset that Games Workshop is hurting those local businesses by delaying the releases, not giving the quantities that they released. And the biggest thing is that Games Workshop has this very horrible practice of going, hey guys, we need your pre-order numbers now, right? For 2 to 3 weeks down the line for a regular release. And we're going to go and take the money now, right? The money now that you're not going to see a return on for 2 to 3 weeks. Or in some cases, hey, you did a restock, you'll get it in about 4 or 5 months. We're going to go ahead and take your money now. We'll get you your product at some point, 4 months later, 3 months later, 5 months later, or something along that lines. And that is hurting the local businesses, the places that we generally go to to game, because we really can't go to a Warhammer store because they got 2 tables and they're not really designed to, hey guys, come on in, play and have some fun. No, they want you in that store to buy stuff and get out as soon as possible. So that was number 3. Number 2 kind of coincides with number 1, is this 3-year cycle. And I've harped on many times, and other people have too. The 3-year release cycle for an edition is just horrible, because Games Workshop doesn't care how bad the rules are. You are going to buy the rules. You're going to buy the codexes. You're going to buy the rule books. You're going to buy all the cards, and they're going to make that money. And then it's going to be bad. And then every year we are getting errata to fix a brand new book that just released, maybe within a month or 2 of that release. And then later on down the line, oh, I'm sorry guys, it's too powerful. We've got to errata it again. Even though we errated it to fix how underpowered it was, now we're too overpowered. We just don't know what we're doing. So that is a huge issue. Now, into the number 1 thing is their rules writing. They are horrible. 10th edition is, for Warhammer 40,000, probably one of the worst editions in a long time. I can't remember an edition that was bad. And I tied into still with some of the tournament scene with TOs and with event organizers, and I see and hear or read that the disgruntled nature of the attendees and the 10th edition rules. Even being in the local game stores, people are just done. And that comes down to the horrible rules writing. And Games Workshop is not trying to make a good rule set. They don't want something that's going to be solid, that like back in the day with 5th, I'm not going to say 6th edition. That was kind of, that might have been 5.5. Let's just call it 7th, 5th and 7th edition. Those lasted for a fairly long time. 4th edition lasted a long time. And those rule sets lasted because they were relatively balanced. They were relatively good. And even 8th edition, 9th edition, they were pretty good rule sets. There was no need to make a new rule set. And that's where Games Workshop gets us, is that it gets us slathering after those rules, the codexes, the rule books, going, oh, this sucks. I need a new book. Oh, Games Workshop, it's been a year and a half. I'm getting a new Space Marine Codex. Yay. Or it's been 3 years. I'm getting a new rule book. Thank God, because this rule set sucks. Oh, look, this one is just as bad. We should start holding them accountable. They're the ones that we should be upset with, not because of a female Space Marine or a black Space Marine or a female Adeptus Custode, but for their business practices, their rules writing. They are bad at it. Now, they make amazing models, and they've got the most amazing in-depth lore out there that I can't think of an IP that's even close. Maybe Star Trek is close, but Star Trek's kind of off the rails right now with all their time travel shit. But Games Workshop, Warhammer 40,000, Age of Sigmar, Old World, they are off the hook. Horus Heresy has got so many New York Times bestseller novels. They are good with the miniatures. They're good with the lore. They're bad with how they run their business, and they're bad with the rules writing. That's where we need to hold them accountable. That is where I think we should be upset with them, not over female custode, black Ultramarines, or something along that lines. Let's not worry about that. Let's worry about the rules and the business. Anyways, let me know what you guys think about this. I love to read your comments or just anything you guys want to say down there. Anyways, have a wonderful day, guys. I'll talk to you later. See ya.